Business Means Yuka Roy here in the studio. Very good evening to you.
Hey, Mark.
With days to go before Donald Trump takes office, social media giant Meta has decided to ditch its long-standing policy on content moderation. Tell us more.
Well, Meta, of course, is the owner of Facebook and Instagram, and it says that it's ending its third-party fact-checking scheme and loosening its content moderation policies starting in the United States and switched to a community notes system like the one used on its rival X. Mark Zuckerberg said the company's reliance on the scheme has gone too far, leading to too many mistakes and too much accidental censorship. Morgan Eyre has more.
There's been too much censorship. That's according to Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. He said the company, which owns Facebook and Instagram, wanted free expression to take priority. As a result, the tech giant will scrap its third-party fact-checking program in the US, who Zuckerberg accuses of being biased.
We built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people.
Meta is also relaxing rules on topics like gender and immigration, saying it will focus on tackling illegal activity like terrorism, drugs and child exploitation. Since the re-election of Donald Trump, Zuckerberg has been forging better ties with the Republican, who was banned from Facebook after the January 6th insurrection. He later called the platform an enemy of the people.
We're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
In recent days, Meta hired Republican policy executive Joel Kaplan as its global affairs head and appointed other prominent Trump allies to its board.
Too much harmless content gets censored. Too many people find themselves wrongly locked up in Facebook jail, and we're often too slow to respond when they do.
Content will instead be moderated by users themselves using a community notes system. This is similar to what Elon Musk's X program uses, but reports suggest that this system so far has failed to address misinformation. Meta says it has no immediate plans to change the program in Europe.
US President-elect Donald Trump said Meta's policy U-turn was probably a response to his threats against Mark Zuckerberg. Rights groups have voiced serious concern.
It's a really blatant attempt to cozy up to the Trump administration, and it's likely to have really harmful implications. We already know that women, people of colour, LGBT plus communities, as well as other groups like climate scientists and activists face a really large amount of discrimination and hate and attacks online. I think it's really concerning that we're also witnessing what looks like a race to the bottom with these big tech companies.
Watch this space, and we certainly will be watching it very closely indeed. Next, the US government says the owner of WeChat and the world's biggest battery maker are linked to the Chinese military.
Well, Mark, the Pentagon has added dozens of companies to its list of Chinese military companies. The new entries include tech giant Tencent, which owns WeChat and also has a stake in Epic Games, the company behind Fortnite. Also added are artificial intelligence firm SenseTime and CATL, the company that makes EV batteries for Tesla, Volkswagen, Toyota and other car makers. The listing doesn't immediately result in sanctions or export controls, but could affect their reputations. The companies deny they're working with the Chinese military, calling the listing a mistake. The Beijing government has denounced the latest move.
China has always firmly opposed the United States broadening the concept of national security, creating discriminatory lists under various pretexts and unjustly suppressing Chinese enterprises to curb China's high-quality development. We urge them to immediately correct their wrong practices and lift the illegal unilateral sanctions and long-arm jurisdiction against Chinese companies.
Getty Images is merging with rival Shutterstock to create a stock image powerhouse to counter the threats of artificial intelligence. Those threats are real, aren't they?
Well, the companies announced that they have entered into a definitive merger agreement to create an enterprise worth $3.7 billion. The move comes when the visual content industry is facing increasing competition from generative AI. Both Getty and Shutterstock, of course, sell still images, videos and 3D visuals. The deal is also expected to generate up to $200 million in annual cost savings, according to the companies. The deal, though, could draw scrutiny from antitrust regulators, Mark. Now, shares of both Getty and Shutterstock skyrocketed following the announcement. In broader market action, though, Wall Street is trading weaker this Tuesday as the yield on US Treasury notes spiked following fresh data that suggested inflation was likely to remain sticky. The Nasdaq is down 1.7% amid a decline in tech shares.